Hello, everyone. Here we are in January.
Yes. We missed each other last month.
I know. We were far away. She was suffering in
I
Florida.
was.
But and we were enjoying snow over here, but it was good. So welcome everyone. And we are on the third month of this journey that Titus to make us ready is we're having. So for those that are coming in for the first time, we want to make sure that we are all on the same page, and we love to read scripture. So here we go.
Am I reading it?
Yes, you're reading Titus.
So it says, but as for, this is Titus 2 verses 1, but as for you, proclaim the things which are fitting for sound doctrine. Older men are to be temperate, dignified, self-controlled, sound in faith, in love, and perseverance. Older women likewise are to be reverent in their behavior, not malicious gossips or enslaved to much wine, teaching what is good so that they may encourage the young women to love their husbands, to love their children, to be sensible, pure workers at home, kind, being subject to their own husbands, so that the word of God will not be dishonored.
That's my favorite part of that.
Yes.
Because it's all about the word. So that's our motto for Titus 2. Now for the make ready is Revelation 19:7. And it says, let us rejoice and be glad and give him glory. For the wedding day of the Lamb has come. His bride has made herself ready. And that's what we're trying to do, all individually, obviously, but it's nice to be able to do it together. So we encourage one another. There are days I'm down, and Mary Catherine helps me to get back to it.
Vice versa. It's on the phone.
Yeah. So it's always nice to not even if you're not, we're 2 hours away. It's not like we live next door.
No.
And but it's still, the phone keeps us close. So you can do that. It's important to stay connected and
And for
the
me,
journey.
it's like when I have questions, I can't tell you how many times I've like screenshot or taken a picture of something that maybe a ministry said or something, and it throws me into this confusion. And I'm like, Simeon, she knows the importance of the loopiness to get, stopped. So as that wisdom, she comes in and she'll help me work through these things. So we just wanted to enter everybody into what this looks like. And, what we've covered so far was the body, which is in wisdom, and that's what we're getting into. So we did the diet in November. We did sleep in December, and this month it's movement. And
yes, and we're still within wisdom.
Yes, tapping into the Father's wisdom on what that looks like for each one of us. And before we get into this, we want to give a big disclaimer. We are not doctors. We are not physicians. This is not medical advice. This is just information, wisdom that the Father has given us for our individual needs. And we like to share it to kind of open minds for you to then go and look into what your individual needs are. Talk with your physicians, find your right practitioners. I was telling Simi yesterday about a full practitioner out here that she could go do thermographs with. So
because I had mine yesterday.
Yeah. So
thermograms are good.
Your thermogram, not a graph. See, I am not a doctor. I'm not going to claim to be.
But we're giving you links of the doctors that we follow. And that we're getting good information from. And like everything, please eat the meat, spit out the bones, and don't let them choke you, because that is very easy to do. And nobody has a handle on the whole truth. Only the truth, the way and the life, has it all together. And that's what we're seeking. And that's the discipleship or mentorship walk. It's a walk. He never said, just sit and ponder on things and intellectually figure things out. No, it is a walk of faith. So we need to do something with what we're learning and what we're doing with it. And this month, so the first month we tackled things about diet because we were in the Thanksgiving month. Then the second month we were on the month, it was Hanukkah, it was dreams. So it is the darkest month of the has the darkest day of the year, and that, which we know is a very special day, because life came in, life came in the world. So yes, so we celebrated the birth of light in conception, and we will celebrate his birth outside of the womb in Sukkot. So, but this month it's about movement, and the only thing that is celebrated this month will be a fast
in the biblical calendar.
In the biblical calendar, and that fast was during the siege of Jerusalem. And we were talking about this. What does that look to us? We come under siege in so many ways, and there's always the world, and the enemy, and our own flesh is constantly trying to derail us from the straight and narrow way. But we need to do something about it. We need to be prepared for that. How's this month coming in, starting for you?
And for some of us, it looks like fasting, like we talked about, that actually partaking in that specific fast that's coming. Which we also, like we said, no medical advice. You know what you can or cannot do.
Oh, by the way, let me just interrupt there, because a lot of people go, I cannot, I have this, that, and the other medical hindrance to fasting. And let me tell you, the fast, that the 9 biblical fasts that are in the Bible, they are the majority, except Yom Kippur, which is from sundown to sundown. The majority are from sunrise to sundown on the same day. So, and people are funny about that. They'll wake up earlier than sunrise and have a huge meal to carry them through the day. And then at sundown, then they eat again. So you're not really not eating for 24 hours, except Yom Kippur. And that is also, you can address it in different ways. If you have any medical issues, you don't have to fast food. You can fast other things. But it is just the word there for fast is really an affliction. So you are like, oh, I love coffee, so I'm not going to have coffee today. Or chocolate, or I'm not turning on the TV today. Things like that. So it's not that, but during that time, you're letting your body rest, because our body is constantly, even when you don't eat, your body still needs 500 calories a day to run all the processes that you're, breathing, circulation, everything that we need. It's constant. It's still going behind the scenes. It never stops, or we die. So, 500 calories is still some calories that we need to get in. And so what does it do? I love this part. Your body, if it doesn't have food, and that's the down part of eating right before sunrise, because then you do have food. So your body's going to use what you just ate. But if you don't, if you just go to sleep the night before and you have nothing in your stomach, your body needs those calories, like I said, otherwise you will die. And it does it by every cell that is old, anything, any sickness, anything that is in our body that doesn't belong, that's what it eats. So, hey, it's a nice way to get rid of stuff that we don't need, and it's hurting us.
And she really wanted to bring it up because of the correlation of what's going on this month, kind of like what we touched on in the months prior. So
that's part of it. Our Father has given us these and different things to pinpoint in every given month for a reason. There's a cycle, there's an ebb and flow. There's something that he's teaching us through that. And that's what we're doing. We're not being legalistic here, and you have to do this and you have to do that, or otherwise check, I did it. No, it's how do we live this life? What do we learn from each one of these things? It's a walk. We're learning as we walk, as we go.
And I love what she said about walk, because with this topic, today, and we're about to jump into it, being about movement. Is there a way we could see this?
Yeah.
That's so funny. We have our notes pulled up, and I can't see where you all are. But what's funny about, or what's good about what she said about it. It's a walk, and we're also talking about movement, and even in our physical bodies. Well, we know that our bodies are a vessel for the Holy Spirit. And so it matters what we do with the physical body. Sometimes we can get so focused. The audio is a little wonky.
Is it? Because I was too close. I was right here on you.
Is it okay now, Danielle?
It is. Just try not to go like too far out to the edge, because I think your voice travels away from the computer or something, however your
Okay.
sound is. But it's
Is
good.
my voice okay right now?
Yep.
Okay. But what I was going to say is sometimes, well, at least for me, I'm a little bit of an extremist. So sometimes I get like extreme on the spiritual side, and then I'll neglect my physical body, or extreme on the physical. And it's like, you're really focused on your regimen and your eating, but then you neglect maybe the spiritual matters and prayer time. And it's like, you really do have to find a balance. And especially as a mom, it can be hard to find balance anywhere, period, because you're juggling being a mom, a wife. Hello, like I'm also a wife and tending to that, like my husband, and not neglecting his emotional needs and things, but also being exhausted from just being a mom and thinking like, I just don't have the energy to move. So, but it is a walk. And just like we say in scripture, when it says to remember the Sabbath and keep it holy, it's not like what Cindy said, just in our minds, it's an act. Like that word zakar, remember, is an active word. It's a word that takes action and movement. And so movement isn't just exercise. It can be breathing, and I was telling Simi, we got over COVID. Like we had COVID a week ago or whatever, like everybody else, same time. And one of the best things that I learned through that process was from a master herbalist. And she said, just sing and keep your lungs moving and, activated. And it really was, not only was it wonderful to feel that movement in my lungs and know like nothing is settling in my lungs, and I was getting my kids, we were all singing, but it was also very uplifting, like to our spirits, in our minds, like we're all singing and it's fun. And even though we feel icky, like the movement does something. And Simi didn't even know this about me, but actually my degree from UT Knoxville is in therapeutic recreation. The sound does fade. Wonder if there's a way to turn it up.
I have it in 100%. So
Okay.
I don't know. We just can't put our headphones
when we're together.
when we're together. So I hope it comes out good.
Can you hear okay right now? Okay. Maybe we move.
Seems to adjust. It seems to adjust like when you start talking. So.
Okay. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm gonna try to not move so much. I like to move. Movement is what we're talking about. It's very difficult for me not to move. So
I'm kinesthetic.
yes. So anyways, my degree from UT Knoxville is is in recreation therapy. So it is like I love this topic. Movement is so important, like recreational activities. And the reason I got excited about this is because I know we have people all across the board in the Rooted Cafe. Some are able to move and exercise and function with no problem, with ease. And some of us may have arthritis. Some of us may have maybe in a wheelchair and not able to move. And so I just kind of wanted to touch on that, because from my background and working with a host of different populations, I've worked with stroke victims and people of all abilities, opportunities. That's what I see disabilities. We call them opportunities to do it in a different way. But you are not limited just because of a disability. It's an opportunity to find a new way. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. if you are someone who feels stuck in that place of not being able to move as well, because you might have any element of issue, right? Or what you think of an opportunity. Like what I just spoke on, lung movement, singing, like don't be sedentary. Speak your prayers. When you're speaking your prayers, your body actually has movement, even just within itself, within your lungs, you know, and that.
And our faith grows by the
Yes.
hearing of the word.
Yes.
Mhm.
And Simi's going to talk soon about the different things we can do for our brain, just specific, very simple little movements you can do every day that literally activate your brain. And we've all learned the little, even the hand motions, the hand movements that she has taught us in the past to help cleanse the negativity in our cells and help cleanse our livers and our kidneys and where they store all this negativity. So we know there's all these little movements, but sometimes we just forget. Like I know for me, especially when I get in a funk, the first thing that happens when I know I'm in a funk is I get in my head and I quit speaking. Like I quit speaking my prayers.
And we start shallow breathing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you get inside yourself.
Yep.
And so sometimes those are the moments when going on a run is like the best thing I could do for myself. Getting on my trampoline and jumping because I just need to move and it makes me breathe and it makes me, you know, whatever. So did I touch on everything in that area? I mean,
I think so.
yeah.
One of the things that it's very simple that you know, I'm sports brain, so I like that. That's actually why.
And you love dance. Simi, I also love dance too, you know, worship dance. And I know a lot of y'all do. I think Ruth really loves it as well, Cindy.
Yeah. But even, you know, when I think of touchdown, what do?
Yeah.
Touchdown, right? Even this just stretches everything, moves the diaphragm, makes you feel your lungs. So even it's something as simple as that, if you're sitting on a chair.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. And that was the other thing about when I was like with my background, when I was working with people specifically in wheelchairs or when I worked at the assisted living and things, I had like an entire 30-minute like workout with all they had. I gave them a ball and we put it on the floor and they would tap their feet up on that ball, up, down, off, up and down and off. And I'm not kidding you. People who were on walkers were getting so strong. I gave them weights. They could lift weights, little light weights. And as every time they would, you know, graduate to a higher level of weights. And I had men that were relying on walkers. Like they were like, oh my goodness, I'm so strong. They didn't need their walkers as much. And I mean, truly, there was progression. It was wonderful. But sometimes we just get so small in our thinking, like, I can't, oh, I'm disabled or I have this. But I really just want to encourage you when it comes to these things, look at them as opportunities to do it in another way. Is really why we even wanted to talk on that.
Yeah. And one thing that you may want to touch on is what is the regression of that? So you're talking about how you can improve and even get stronger, but what happens when you are strong, something happens, an accident, an illness, you know, you just got
a stroke,
a stroke, or you just had the cold, you know, the simple cold, and you just feel horrible, your head hurts, you're not moving, and you're like that for about 2 weeks. What happens to the body when?
Yeah, well, I mean, your muscles kind of consume themselves essentially. I mean, when our cells and our fat stores turn on and when we don't move, our body no longer craves movement. We actually have to begin moving for our body to even have the motivation to move. It is all, I mean, what's that word that I'm looking for? Physics, you know, it's like we need a kinesiology, you know, like we need movement to instigate movement. So yeah, I mean, like you will regress. Some of the things that can happen are that is what can cause arthritis, especially Simi and I have been talking about this with menopausal women, like how important strength training is when you're at that age, because your ability to gain muscle and keep muscle is much more difficult because of the hormone changes that happen. And we also have been talking about that with even like women like us in our fertile years, how important strength training is. Go ahead and tell us what you wanted to say, Danielle.
Oh, so a couple years ago, my grandma had a stroke. And so, like the left side typically goes really numb, or sometimes, stroke patients, they can't even feel anything or move anything. So
right, depending where it was.
Yeah, my grandmother's was on the left, but when we would go and visit her, the nurses would tell us, like not in front of her, because my grandma's very like finicky about this, but she would say, hey, just go and play with your grandma's fingers, just move them around, hold her hand, stroke her arm, and all this other kind of stuff. And within a week, just that movement that we did on her skin, her body remembered and her nerves remembered the purpose that they had, and she was actually able to regain all of her strength and all of her feeling in her whole left side.
It activated her brain.
Yes. Yep. I love you use the word remember, because we do have muscle memory, and it sometimes, depending on where in your brain the stroke may hit, it will. And if it's like cerebellum, if it's back here, that's where your motor is, and then you may have to learn how to walk again. But when you do, and you start moving and you start strengthening that part of your brain will remember what it used to be. And then you obviously can recuperate so much faster as somebody that never walked before.
And that's something with, like for me, I think the reason why I had such a passion to go into therapeutic recreation is because as a child, I actually was born, I had auditory processing disorder. And that's essentially from, I needed to cross that midline in my brain. I needed synapses that were not connecting in my brain to be connected. I was one of those babies that just stood up and ran. I never crawl. I didn't crawl. And just those kind of movements are so important. You can literally, there is a company today that will assess your crawl. They'll assess an adult's crawl, and they'll see, oh, your brain actually needs some work. And they'll actually recommend specific exercises to help you cross your midline in your brain. And with my kids, I actually have little exercises where it's like, you lift this arm and you cross your body, right? This is crossing the midline. So I'm lifting this hand and I'm touching the opposite knee, and we'll do those kind of things, touch and tap. And we do those kind of things before we even do any homeschool work, because I know I need to activate their brains. But I also know, like that any disconnect, I want to reconnect, because now I know how important it was. And both of my kids were pretty quick to walk. And so I'm like, let's crawl. We'll just get down on the ground. I'm like, let's play dog, and we're pretending we're dogs. And it's good for me to crawl. Like it is very good for adults to even crawl. So did you want to show them that
there is
brain?
No, we'll do it on the next one. So there is one that's really simple, and it's getting both of your hemispheres connected. Sometimes we feel kind of funky and we don't know why. I just feel off. I don't know what it is.
Get in a funk.
And then this is what you do. So you put your fingers down like this, and then you put one on top of the other and cross them, bring them inside on your chest. You put one leg on, cross down at your, because now I have crossed my hands.
Cross your ankles.
But cross your ankles, one foot in front of the other, and put your tongue on the roof of your mouth. And that calms the roof of your mouth, calms your brain center, and this connects both sides. So then I like to take it out and then switch it. And I'll switch it and switch my legs. Switch my legs. Do that again, and you shake it off. And that connects, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It connects your brain, both hemispheres, and it does feel good. And it's called, if you want to teach it to your children, the pretzel.
I feel like I did that growing up with kids, like,
Mhm.
you're like,
Mhm.
oh, you do like these fun
Mhm.
little tricks.
Yeah, yeah, and they love it.
That is so
So
cool.
then you can say, do you feel bad? Do you want to do the pretzel?
Do you think that's why some women are more prone to crossing their legs when we sit?
It could be.
Like we have a need to focus maybe?
One thing that I do know that we do naturally is this.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, you're, oh, goodness gracious. And then you're just do this,
Mhm.
which is you're activating every organ in your body through this. Even when you get angry, this activates both,
Yeah.
you know, all your organs.
Oh,
You're
this.
sending, oh, if you're cold and do this, this is called havening, or up and down. And then you're also just doing, you're stimulating your organs. And I'll talk a little bit more about the brain. We're going to take a break at 30 minutes, and then we will do again another 30-minute recording.
In 4 minutes. So
In 4 minutes we have.
wait, do we have to break up the recording?
Yes.
We're trying to be good girls.
Yes. And then there are so many things. One of the things, if movement, you know, it's and like I said, there are so many things that we've been doing all along, all our lives, and nobody call it anything. You're cold, and you did this, and you warm up yourself. That is what now they call havening. And this also works with your brain. It calms the center of your brain that is, you know, you have the parasympathetic and the sympathetic. One is the break and the other one is vroom, go, 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 go. And when you see that you're feeling go, 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 then you need to stop that. You need to take deep breath. And you can do this. You can just put cream in your hands and just massage your hands. You have all the pressure points in your hands. So you can do that. If your hands are cold, you are in run
Survival
mode.
mode.
Yes.
Because your blood isn't flowing to your
Mhm.
extremities. It's saying, oh, I need to focus on
The heart.
the lungs or whatever else.
Right. So when you do that, then when you feel your hands cold, which by the way, that was my life, all my life. And I thought, oh, this is just, I have low blood pressure. My feet are always cold. My hands are always cold. And then I'm learning all this stuff about my brain. It's like, no, you are burning those adrenal
You are
glands.
disconnected. You got problems. You see a therapist.
Yes.
You
So
are your own therapist.
I know. And this is why we're doing this, because we want you to have tools and things that you can use. That you can use, and then you just work with that as you need it. But when you do that, in order to calm yourself, warm your hands. Take, you know, address your body. If your body's telling you, okay, my hands and my feet are cold right now, that means, and by the way, I still have low blood pressure. That never changed. My hands are not cold. So, you know, you can realize that and say, okay, I need to calm that part of me. Or you're like completely, you know, down and you just need to perk up. So then you can also do things like that. You can do it with like singing, like she was saying, laughing. We still have 1 more minute. Laughing is wonderful. It detoxes your brain to laugh for 2 minutes.
The kind that gets in your belly and it makes you.
Yes. And when I can laugh and I'm upset, I put a pen in my mouth and bite on it. So it just, it keeps my muscles right here, and it makes me smile when I don't want to.
Then you say, when you start salivating.
Yeah. Then you know. And sometimes the first time I did that, I was not salivating. My mouth was dry as it could be. And that's us, you know, a sign that we need to stop because it's 30 minutes now.
We're good.
Go, Danielle.
Pause.